All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. But first, we got some movie news. I just want to add, it's just me and Andrew today. The rest of the guys couldn't make it, unfortunately. Last episode, for Edge of Tomorrow, which we did because this episode is coming out.
That was just you and Mike, right?
It was just me and Mike. And me and Mike were hyping it up, saying we got the chemistry. This is the best episode yet, which is probably true. But then we got me and Andrew's chemistry.
Yeah.
I think this episode's even better. I'm going to just start saying that every episode. This one's even better than the last. But yeah, so I just want to mention that.
With the iPhone.
Yeah, this year's iPhone.
This is the best. This is the fastest iPhone we've ever made. Well, no shit.
With the biggest battery.
No shit, it's faster than last year's.
We'd hope so. Yeah, no, but we wanted to do some movie news first because we really haven't since episode 100. And
yeah, it's been a while.
It had been a while. So I think first we should start off with the writer and actor strike because since episode 100, the actors have gone on strike. Yeah. I think, remember, we talked about during episode 100, go listen to it if you haven't, where we're like, yeah, it's possible by June 30th there could be an actor strike, and then they actually were able to, I think, just advance it or extend it another 2 weeks because they thought they were close to something. They're not. I saw that there's also, there's a director's agreement, but that was able to get handled and didn't cause a strike, so, luckily for that. But yeah, now there's the actor strike, and now we have all these really good movies like Oppenheimer, Barbie, and obviously Mission Impossible, which we're about to talk about. That now it's like with the writer's strike, I saw some people are boycotting going to see these new movies.
Yeah, well, I feel like we should say that first here. Like, we don't know the full grasp of the entire situation, but what we've kind of heard from like the news and the media and stuff, we're obviously siding with the actors and the folks that are on strike. However, us being a movie podcast, we will still go see some of these movies that were too. Yeah, we will go see some new movies. However, these movies that are coming out were produced prior to the strike, and we like we said, we support the folks that are going on strike. Like, we totally get it. I think one of the notes you have in here, Josh, saying that Gunn says in 1980 CEOs made 30 times what the lowest worker was making. Now Bob Iger is at 400 times the lowest worker in Disney, which is like, that's horrible. And that's not just in the movie industry. That's like all industries now. Like, if you look towards retail or anything else, healthcare, the president and CEO of the hospital makes way more than the damn janitor. And there is some merit towards, like, going off on a tangent here, but like, as you work harder, yeah, you should be paid more, and if you're the CEO, you should be paid more. But I think what is being outlined here is 400 times is too. We've launched into the stratosphere, and we're way too far off at this point. 30 times seems,
I just want to add,
like a lot, but it rare, but fair.
And I want to add, because I saw there's a bunch of pictures going out. Bob Iger in the last 5 years has made $198 million, which that's a lot. Listen to this. In the last 5 years, David Zelva, the CEO of Warner Brothers, has made $498 million.
Oh my goodness.
$300 million more than Bob Iger. He is the highest paid CEO in that industry. What, that's in 5 years, $500 million for what? What is he doing? Like, it's a crazy number. And then that's like, that just goes to show you, about the strike. Clearly it's like, makes no sense.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, the folks on strike aren't expecting, for their compensation to be, $498 million as well. But they would like that gap that was, 30 to 1 in 1980, now being 400 to 1. I think what people are asking is just, let's bring that gap down a little bit. Let's maybe 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it in a more feasible, where it's still an outrageous number as CEO, because you're whatever. Like I said, there's some merit behind the hard work, but their pay at this point is so astronomical, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, and two, this wasn't really a thing yet, or at least we didn't know about it at the time when we did the episode 100. But I guess it got leaked that a head of a company said that we have enough scripts and stuff for the fall, the pilot season, where we're just gonna try to sweat out the writers. And they only predict them getting till October, November until they have to take the cheaper deal, because then they'll get kicked out of their housings and their apartments. And then so now there's a GoFundMe for writers to buy groceries. It started, I believe, a week or two ago.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so now like just regular Joes like us can pay and help the writers fight back against the big corporations.
Which is great. I think we're gonna see, some of these studios that say, you know what, screw it. And most of them all of them basically actually have taken that stance. Like, screw the writers, screw the actors. We'll do it on our own. Okay, what my thought of what will happen with that is they'll produce content that'll be mediocre and probably slowly declining in quality. Well, you're now going to start getting worse reviews. People are going to, that bad taste in their mouth for one, the bad content, and two, the bad publicity you're putting out there. People might steer away from you. Like, I think these companies do need to realize, like, you can only anger so much of the population before, like, your company starts to kind of falter. I mean, you're seeing that with other different things in other industries for different reasons. But the moral of my point is piss off enough people and you'll hurt your business. And I think that's what we'll see happen with a lot of this. They're taking this hard stance. I hope it bites them in the ass.
Well, too, I don't know if you heard, but a big problem is residuals. So that was another thing that Sean Gunn said was for Gilmore Girls, which came out from the year 2000 to 2007. It was originally on the WB and then it was on the CW. But once it came to Netflix, it became really popular for Netflix. Netflix was getting a lot of subscribers for the show. A lot of people were watching the show. It kind of like The Office, right? The Office, when it was running, it did pretty well, but it didn't do as well until it blew up on Netflix.
Blew up, and when I saw it.
He gets basically no residual checks from Netflix. He gets, from basically what I was seeing is that a basic network show like Gilmore Girls, where it wasn't that huge at the time when they were coming out every week, he would still get $4,000 or $5,000 residual checks. Now on Netflix, he's getting $30-$40, if that. So,
That's
and I'm
insane.
seeing like the Stranger Things writers, like all these guys, like for these streaming platforms, don't get shit for residuals. Whereas on a basic cable channel, you would get thousands of dollars. Whereas
I'm sure the streaming services absolutely adore it because they're paying. Not only are they're paying these actors and writers less in this case, but then they're also getting a cut, like the company itself, from your monthly subscription. So they're double. They got the double whammy going. They're like, hey, we're going to collect money from the consumer to watch, and then we're also not going to pay the people that are producing the content. Like, talk about a great deal to be one of the streaming platforms. That's horrible.
That's terrible. No, and it just leaked out today too. Disney Plus, and you're gonna love this, paid $212 million for Secret Invasions, 6 episodes, and She-Hulk was $217 million.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy for a TV show?
$217 million.
That's movie level budget.
She-Hulk, come on, give me that. Give small guys $217 million. We'll run with it. Yeah. We can get something out there.
But dude, like to show a scroll changing in Secret Invasion, what is that, $4 million a pop? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So I don't know. So clearly, it sounds like it's too much money. Like it sounds like it's a scam or like a pyramid scheme or like a money laundering type thing. Like,
you think
it's crazy to think they're spending that much money on these shows? I
would bet that a lot of the money is like it's going to the wrong spots and it's overinflated. You know what I mean? Like, all right, so maybe the actors and the writers aren't getting that much, but for them to be at Studio A, they have to rent that out. And let's say, it should only cost, $1 million for the whole time they're there. Studio A is just like, oh, Disney has the money. Let's charge them $17 million, like just because we can. And so I feel like that might be the problem. I mean, that's kind of like that's like with healthcare, for example. You go to the ER and you pay $900 for an Advil because you can.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be part of the problem. Like there's just some overinflating of the numbers. And the company itself,
and they're probably trying to not budget either, right?
Like,
cutting every corner they possibly can.
Yeah, like, cutting corners where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I would imagine there's some of that. Obviously, I'm not in the industry. I can't talk for it too much.
Yeah, it just blew my mind when I saw it. I guess maybe She-Hulk makes a little bit more sense because she had to be, CGI'd green at a lot of points and stuff like that. And they had other superheroes and superpowers.
That is not a $217 million quality show, though.
No, but you gotta think. Secret Invasion? Like, they don't even really have superheroes in that. It's just like people walking around. It's a spy thriller from what we've seen so far.
That's Samuel L. Jackson's salary.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, I don't know. He must be making like $80 million, I guess, for that money to make sense. I don't know.
And so that's another problem with like this whole like actor writer draft. I feel like your A-list stars, they are paid well. Now, I could be corrected. Maybe I'm wrong. But the known names are paid out handsomely versus, some extras and maybe some folks that are getting started are paid, piddly shit. And, that used to be okay back in the day. Like, oh, we're grinding to make it big. The problem is now is that mentality doesn't work because we're grinding to be big. Oh, wait, I can't afford to eat in the meantime. Like the wages kept going up for the A-list actors, I feel like, but they stagnated for all that entry level. I mean, that what we're talking about is basically a problem with the entire world, but
yeah, but like you said, since the writers' money was like stable, like the same amount, they're down like I think 5 to 8% in the last 5 years. So it's like their money's going down.
Because their wages are not matching even inflation, let alone like maybe their performances are getting better. I mean, like I said, what we're talking about is kind of a problem everywhere in the world.
But
this industry is just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but it's crazy to think that there's studio heads out there that are like, no, we'll wait until they're kicked out of their houses because we have backup scripts for certain things.
I don't know, a little off topic, but on strike talk, did you hear about like the UPS strike that may happen?
I heard about it, yeah, but I don't know much about it. I heard that's a possibility.
So, like that's one. Basically, a lot of the UPS workers are the same thing. The wages aren't keeping up, and that's a very demanding job. But like, that's a profession that like will halt the economy. Basically, like UPS is critical to the infrastructure here in the United States. And I think maybe people aren't taking the actors and writers draft as seriously. Like, oh, it's just entertainment. Okay, well, wait till you got nothing to fucking watch. Like, we're a very consumer centric society. Wait till you've got no new TV shows. Your movies suck. Like that's lame. Like cinema and television. That's our art here. I mean, at least especially us here on the podcast. All of us, all the guys here, and everyone that's listening.
Well, and I saw a thing too online, and I think you would agree to this, but it was basically a statistic saying that your life, you feel like you have more happiness and more quality to it when you actually have a show to look forward to every week because you have something to look forward to get you through the workday and to keep you more positive. And I feel like to a certain degree that's right.
Yeah, I would bet that's pretty positive and realistic for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we're all really excited for
like that.
Yeah, I mean, even movies too. We're really excited for Oppenheimer and Barbie at the end of the week, and so
yeah.
I mean, and it gives people.
It's an art. It's an art form, and it's a way to like have community and talk about that. I mean, hell, that's literally why we created this.
Yeah, I mean, if Warner Brothers can pay the CEO $500 million within 5 years, I think they could probably pay the writers a little more.
They can probably figure out some way to get
and there's
some money.
Some of the money right there.
Yeah, if we could just cut him down to 50 million instead of 100, there's 50 million to disperse handsomely between some of the staff.
Yeah, not to mention the other execs probably getting overpaid.
Yeah,
and all that shit too.
He's 100 million. I'm sure the COO is 90 million.
Yeah.
Not far beyond. I'm sure the COO is not like, oh, I'm only bringing in 80K a year. Yeah, right.
No,
sure they're right behind him.
Well, and they have this too. This morning, Universal Studios began trimming the trees that the Writers Guild of America are using for shade. So I guess there's an area in front of Universal where they're picketing, and they just trimmed it. And there's a picture online of them doing it. It's terrible. So now they're just out there cooking in the sun.
Like that's dystopian.
Yeah.
Like
middle of July in LA.
That's cruel. Like someone had to make that decision, and they're going to bed tonight, and they're like, I'm not mad at the people trimming the trees, because you know what,
it's higher up telling them to do
it. Unfortunately the folks that are trimming the trees probably just they're just doing their job. They're like, I got to get paid. This is most of them
probably didn't even realize what the reason for the trees were. They probably just thought it was a normal job too. I doubt that the head of the studio would risk.
Whoever decided made that call, like, I hope maybe their pillow's real hot tonight. They can't.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
They're real uncomfortable trying to sleep tonight, because that's pretty cruel to just go home and be like, oh yeah, all those people that they want more money, because that's the thing too. The person that made that decision, they're going home to their mansion. They're handsomely paid. Whoever made that call, I'm sure
their
that's
butler comes gets the door for them.
Yeah, they've got someone fanning them when they walk in their damn house. I'm sure they're quite literally not sweating it, which is really messed up.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And I'm sure if they ever got caught, they'd be like, "Oh, it's just coincidence. We didn't really think about it." No, fuck you.
I just
the spot they're standing in. Really?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh, the land. Honestly, I'm sure Universal puts out a statement that says that, like, oh, this is just part of our routine July maintenance. We just happen to be trimming the trees. They're all cut down. We did it around the whole studio.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, it's part of our Lorax marketing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we have Yellowstone will air on CBS this fall. This is due to the lack of new content available because of the studio's unwillingness to pay and treat the actors and writers fairly. Yeah, so I've never seen Yellowstone. I don't think you have. My parents are a huge fan. Not. I know a lot of people are huge fans of it.
I tried to start it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
my brother even watched it. He loved it too.
I tried to start it, but I couldn't figure out what fucking platform it was on. It's Peacock. And Paramount. It's on 2.
Oh, is it on there? Okay.
Yeah, and some of it's
on CBS.
I believe some of it might be on Hulu as well. So good luck.
Wow.
Yeah, have fun watching it.
Certain seasons are on certain platforms.
Yeah, I was like, if we can get this all to like Netflix for me, yeah, I can probably watch this show. But in the meantime, no, not happening.
Yeah, so I wonder if this will continue to happen for Paramount or for Peacock, like I mentioned. If they'll have to just start kind of pulling things and putting them on TV, because they can't afford to just have it on the streaming platform. They need some on television as well. So,
yeah, that's actually that's a good point. I don't know. They may. But what does someone like Netflix do?
I don't know. Yeah.
No original content.
Yeah.
On top of their password sharing crap they got.
Do you remember the joke like 5 or 6 years ago that basically anyone could walk into Netflix and get a show greenlit, and now it's like, I don't know. Now they can't even pay their writers.
Yeah.
The residual thing from Netflix is like baffling to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like TikTok, how they pay their creators. It's like you can get a billion views on TikTok. It's like $14.
Yeah.
It's like some absolutely pitiful, pathetic number where like YouTube, I believe, is 60-40 or 70-30. I believe the creator actually gets the majority. I could be wrong. I'll look it up.
Well, that's one of the things too. Even like Apple Music compared to Spotify, I think Spotify makes like
Spotify's like the worst.
0.03 for their artists, and Apple's like 0.1. So it's like a lot better than what Spotify's doing. But yeah, that's just to give an example of.
So YouTube is actually, I thought it was higher. But it's still, you get slightly over. You're 55%. So 55 to the creator, 45 to YouTube. Which, I mean, there's some. I can get behind that because you're still getting at least half of the revenue, and you're using this one of the most. I think it's the YouTube is like a top 5 used website globally. So you're using this platform that has got a ton of different stuff on it, and they got to keep it running and stuff. And
huge market.
Yeah, huge market. So at least you're still getting half. And I'm sure that's just what like some of these actors and writers would like to see to some form, not exactly that model, but pay a more fair payout residual that they get on these shows.
Yeah, I wanted to briefly mention too. There's Comic-Con cancellations. A lot of these studios have to pull out, especially like comic book studios have to pull out because things are now going to get delayed. Projects that they want to mention. Now, a few studios are still going, and there will still be some trailers, but I remember every year, Comic-Con, I look forward to it just because you get so many trailers for exciting stuff, and now so many of them are pulling out. It almost got canceled, like straight up canceled, because, I mean, what is there really to announce? But there's still a lot of fans, obviously, that do cosplay and stuff, so, it's a good thing that's still happening, but yeah, it sucks that it's just the timing of the situation going on right now. I mean, both writers and both writers and actors have not been on strike in over 60 years. Our parents weren't even born yet. Like that's what's crazy to think about how long it's crazy. Been. So, Across the Spider-Verse is releasing on digital August 8th per Amazon. That's pretty soon. I feel like we just saw the movie, but also it came out in July, or June even. So I guess it's not too soon compared to how quickly things go to digital. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is releasing on Disney Plus on August 2nd. So exciting stuff. We really like those movies a lot. Cillian Murphy says Oppenheimer was filmed unbelievably quick, 57 days. Now, isn't that kind of insane?
That kind of
a 3-hour movie.
Worries me a little bit. 57 days? I mean, less than 2 months of work for a 3-hour project?
Yeah, with a lot of stars, a lot of moving pieces. Yeah. I don't know. That just might be the Nolan magic, though.
57 days though.
Yeah, I had to do a double take on that.
Did he mean 57 days? Like how like a video game is tracked, like like time played. Like is that time
there?
Yeah, time in studio is 57. Like hours combined gets us to 57 days, or like which is more likely they were there 57. Physical days.
A lot of shows and movies take 6-9 months. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it takes a while.
I'm like 2 months to make it 3 hours.
Yeah, under. That's crazy. All right, so let me ask you this, and you probably saw it from the picture I sent you.
Yep.
Would you think Oppenheimer would make more money than Barbie? Because I had this argument with Aiden. He believed Oppenheimer would make way more money, and I was trying to explain to him.
No, I do. I think Barbie obviously appeals to a larger audience. Think of like our girlfriends. They're not going to go see Oppenheimer most likely. I don't know if Sydney's going,
and kids too.
But
Oppenheimer's rated R.
Yeah, but where Barbie, you have this mass appeal to a lot of people. Now, I will say you've got the numbers there at Barbie with 110 million for domestic weekend so far. Oppenheimer for 49. I didn't think it was going to be that far off. I will say that. I would think Barbie would pull ahead, but if I had to guess numbers like on a random test, I would have said that maybe Barbie's at 110. I would have put Oppenheimer around like 90. I would have thought it would have been higher up and closer. I would have still put Barbie ahead, but I didn't think it would. Barbie's double. Over double, actually.
Over double. Yeah, I mean, and we'll know, obviously, and we'll talk about it when we review these movies in the coming weeks. But, yeah, you just got to think, like, Barbie, like we mentioned, it's an hour and 50 minutes, much shorter than a 3-hour movie. You can, if you're with a 10-year-old kid or if you're with your family, you're probably going to go see Barbie over at Oppenheimer. unless me and Andrew are the parents or something like that, and we're dragging our kids to go see Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
which is somehow
they're doing Barbie,
normal people.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
I'm making
normal
them do
people probably do Barbie.
Double feature.
Yeah, and like we said too, it's not rated R, so a lot more people can see it. It's not as long. I feel like it makes sense. But Oppenheimer will make a lot of money from the IMAX experience, like people paying. I think our tickets are almost $20. So people are paying more for these tickets. So I think they'll still both make a lot of money. I think the hype is there. So yeah, it was interesting to see the projected numbers, and I'm really excited to see what they end up becoming from the first weekend. And we'll definitely talk about that when that comes. The Flash ended. This one's funny. The Flash ended its domestic theatrical run with less money than Green Lantern.
That is that's horrible. But I mean, we reviewed that movie. I wasn't a huge fan, so I'm not that surprised. But damn,
it's pretty funny though.
Less than Green Lantern is bad.
I mean, 2 months ago, people were saying it was going to be the best superhero movie of all time.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that, but my expectations were a little bit higher than what I got.
The way you got, yeah. Craig Manson says or confirms that The Last of Us Part 2 will be split into 2 seasons for HBO series. His direct quote was, "The show will not end with season 2 unless people don't want to watch it and will get canceled."
Wow.
I think so. We actually predicted this. We had a really good feeling because me and Aiden knew how long the second game is, that it would be hard to fit it all in one season. So it makes sense that they'd split it into 2 seasons. So we know for sure that, because people are going to watch season 2, we know for sure that it's probably going to get 3 seasons, which is really exciting. I don't think it needs 5 or 6 or 7. They are working on a 3rd game, so maybe by the time they actually start shooting this thing and everything like that.
Absolutely, they're going to cash in on that 3rd game.
Yeah. So, and I'm excited for the 3rd game. But yeah, so I think maybe, and then who knows, maybe the 3rd game is season 4 and 5 and then the show ends. I don't know. But, we figured it would be split into 2 seasons. So
I don't remember exactly what I said on our review, but thinking about it now, I feel like 4 or 5 seasons would be good for this show. I would say 5 would probably be pushing it. Most likely, I feel like you can get a story across in probably 3 or 4 for a show, and it'd be a good show. 5 would be like just kind of a service, but anything over 5, this will turn into The Walking Dead. And
yeah. Well, and who knows how quickly they can turn out seasons. Walking Dead was doing one every year. This show might not even be able to do it for 3 years, every 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, could be.
You don't know. Yeah. All right, so this is the last one we got here, and then we'll get into the movie. House of Dragons Season 2 can continue filming despite the strike. This is because most of the cast are UK actors working under contracts governed by the local union and are not legally allowed to strike in solidarity. So, Pretty interesting. I got to say, half of me is like, yes, let's go, because I really want another season. And the other half is like, damn, it sucks that they can't really support the other actors. Yeah, they can't strike. But, I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, it's a good thing they're not striking because, they're getting paid. So
yes, this is true. Yeah, maybe the pay scale's a little bit better there. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. It could be worse. It could be the same. And they're just,
maybe they're over there like, wait a minute.
Yeah, their contract's not up yet, so they literally can't strike. I don't know. We don't know to that extent, but I guess they can keep filming. And then too, before we get into movie news, and I'm sure we'll mention it next week's episode. I think you saw, Andrew, the Oppenheimer people were doing that whole cast was doing the junket.
Strike.
Yeah, they all left. Yeah, to go on strike. So they're not really even promoting the movie anymore. I think the marketing's done enough, and it's about to come out in a couple days here.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pretty big hit.
By the time this episode comes out, it'll be out. Yeah, so, but it's crazy, dude. I don't know. It's mind-blowing. But yeah, that was our movie news. Let's get into Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the strike comes to an end soon. We're obviously for the writers and actors, like I mentioned.
Agreed.
All right, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ethan Hunt and his IMF team must track down a dangerous weapon before it falls into the wrong hands. This movie has a 96% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. 2 hours and 43 minutes. I just want to preference this. I've seen them all. Huge fan of this franchise. Huge fan. I've seen them all multiple times. I got my girlfriend to start watching them. She loved it. She loves them all too. We were really excited to see it. I convinced Andrew to see it because none of the other guys on the show see it. Andrew, this is the first and only Mission Impossible movie you've seen, right?
Yep. Emma and I both. We both went and saw it, and it's the only one we've ever seen. So yeah, you're gonna get two different perspectives on this episode,
which is very interesting.
Yeah, we don't really
it's very interesting.
have that.
Because I have not really talked to you. I texted you last night. I was like, "Did you have fun at the movies?" Mainly just to check if you went, and you said, "Yep, that was good."
Yeah, I didn't want to give too much away.
Yeah, you didn't, and I really don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know what score you're going to go with. I mean, we never know what scores we're doing till the end. But yeah, I feel like, and I talked to Cindy about it, that you're seeing it, and she's like, "Yeah, I feel like this is a movie where you really wouldn't have to see the other ones, and you would be lost."
So yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing I'll kind of start. Did you say the scores they gave? I don't even.
Yeah, so it's a 96 critic, 94 audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so I will start, and this will kind of preface my my review towards the end, though. But I think those scores are a little bit high, because off the bat, this is a very action-packed movie. I'm sure if you like the Mission Impossible movies and you like Tom Cruise, you'll adore this movie and you'll like it quite a lot. Coming from not seeing any of the other ones, I felt like maybe there was a little bit that I didn't know. There was a couple of those flashback scenes that they have throughout the movie, and just some of like the general background knowledge that may have been helpful, but overall you can still watch the movie and it's enjoyable. It was really cool to see, obviously, his huge marketed stunt, where he, drives a motorcycle. The bike at towards the end, which kind of skipping around here.
No, I feel like this is a movie where we can talk about. I mean, there's so many good parts, but we don't have to go in order. So we can talk about the bike scene. Dude, I thought, and it's one of the craziest. I think it's one of the craziest moments I've had in the theater this year. When he goes off the cliff, and it's a 20-minute buildup, right, of him on this bike.
Yeah.
And we've seen it, like you just mentioned, the big marketing. We saw it in the trailers. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
This is the big stunt. Every Mission Impossible has a big stunt.
Yeah.
This was one of the big stunts. Dude, when he jumps off with the bike off the mountaintop, and they mute the audio, so it's like you don't hear any music. It's just him like falling in the wind. It's like, it was so badass. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I thought it was really cool.
No, incredible, huge. I mean, even if you don't like Tom Cruise, like, you gotta respect him for that. I mean, the stunts that guy does, I have immense respect just for that. The fact that he's just like, and that was what, 7 takes he did? I think?
7 or 8 takes. Yeah, he's really doing it.
Yeah, like, that's absolutely crazy. So huge respect for that. No, that was an awesome piece of that movie, and I feel like it's good that we kind of address that right away, because if for whatever reason you're listening to this review and you haven't seen the movie, which would be weird if you're listening to the review and haven't seen the movie, but if you're listening to the review and maybe didn't know that, go on Google, go on YouTube, and just type in like the Mission Impossible stunt and watch this in real time if somehow you haven't seen that, because it is crazy. Emma actually didn't know that when I mentioned it to her. I was like he actually, I like leaned over to her. I was like, he's actually going off this in real life, and she was like, what? I showed her the video in the car after, which she then told me, oh, he's using a ramp, like I would have done it without a ramp. Which I was like, yeah, of course you would have.
He's also 61.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Emma, if you're listening, he's 61. Give this guy a break.
Yeah, give him a break, Emma. No, and me and Mike talked about that a lot on last episode, like the fact that he does his own stunts in all these movies, even Edge of Tomorrow, all the Mission Impossibles, even in Top Gun and Maverick.
Yeah, I wasn't on the Edge of Tomorrow review. I'm going to throw out a score.
But you had seen the movie.
I have. I'm going to go 87, Edge of Tomorrow. That's my score.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you guys gave it. Random. Throwing it out there, though.
Yeah.
It'll be on the website.
I think that's the same score as Mike.
Really?
Yeah. But
okay, cool.
you guys will have to go listen and find out.
Yeah.
No, that's a great movie, and that's why I really wanted to do that one before doing this, because that movie captures him playing a character that he never really plays, someone who isn't experienced and kind of baffles and doesn't really.
You ever see?
Isn't a badass.
Yeah, I think we should maybe do a rewind. It's also with him, War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay,
I've seen it once, and it was a long time ago, but it was really good.
It's a good movie. I watched that when I was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8, like right when it came out. Terrified me as a kid. Terrified me. I'm not sure why I saw that when I was so young, but I hated it. I just rewatched it recently. It's all right.
Yeah.
It definitely it's not that great, but as a kid it scared me.
So did you have any favorite parts in this movie, outside the bike scene? I mean, it's 2 hours 40 minutes. Yeah, it might be a tad bit long. I know if I had to nitpick, I really, really like the movie. I think, just to kind of say it, I think Fallout's still the best, which was the 6th movie. It has Henry Cavill in it, really good. Jeremy Renner's in some of these movies. I think this one's a close second, though.
For me personally, I haven't seen any of the others. Maybe I was just tired. I thought this movie was too long. I'd have cut a half hour. I don't know where. I'd have cut 30 minutes from it, though.
There's some exposition at the beginning where I feel like they explain things twice, almost, to make sure the watcher understands what they're seeing. But I would have found a way.
I would have found a way to chop up 30 minutes and slice it out. If I'm going to nitpick something that I didn't like, the end with like I said, we're jumping on this review a little different than how we normally do. But the train scene when the cars are one by one falling, that just felt.
You didn't like that?
It just felt stupid to me.
Oh, I love that, dude. Because think about it. In any other movie, that would look stupid, like a joke. But in this movie, where they're going through the carts, I was on the edge of my seat. It was intense for me. I was like,
"Oh, okay." What did you think? They weren't going to make it?
I mean, who knows? Maybe Haley Atwell's character, who I liked a lot, by the way, could have died. I don't know.
I will say, when the piano came and blew the whole back of that train, I was like, "Oh shit! Look at that!"
When they're in the kitchen one and the grease fire's happening and all that.
Yeah. I guess it was tense, but it just felt cheesy. The CGI there was. You could tell it was. I mean, not that I thought they were actually going to go crash an entire train off a bridge, but to me that part just felt kind of.
Well, and there's some laws of physics, right? Like what we get in Marvel movies or Fast and Furious movies, where it's that person really jumped from that car to that car, like that. Like gravity doesn't work.
I like how they're
jumping from train to train.
I like how they don't even explain the three of them when they all make it. It's just hard cut, and they're just standing up there, right at the edge of the train. I'm like, okay, come on.
I do think too, this is probably one of the funnier Mission Impossibles. I really liked. There's a couple funny parts when he comes through the window in the train.
I knew that was coming. Stunt.
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't thinking it. And he saves her. I thought that was hilarious.
I literally told Emma, I go, he's coming through that window. I go, he's gonna smoke this guy, and does exactly that. Now, yeah, I predicted it, but it's still funny as hell. It was executed very well. Just launches the other guy out the window.
Yeah, and the other funny part,
I didn't think that would happen. I just thought he would fly in and knock the guy over.
Just knock him over.
Not send him out the other side. So no, that was funny.
Yeah, another funny part I really liked too was and the scene was really cool. Really, really cool. One of the best car action scenes I think we've gotten. When they're, I think it's in Paris, and they're, is that where it is?
I don't want to say and sound like an idiot.
Yeah, we're going to sound like an idiot. Now it's Rome. I'm going to say Rome.
Okay.
And then I'll switch back to Paris.
Okay,
anyway,
cool.
We actually got the same area actually in the new Fast and Furious movie. I think the way this one did it, and that's why I'm going to say Rome. I should know. Okay. I've seen it in 2 movies now. I should know.
Yeah.
This year, by the way.
We'll do a small guys trip there, all of us, all 5 of us.
Yeah.
Just to
confirm.
But
I think this movie did it better than that movie did. They did the same staircase, everything.
Okay.
Chase. But yeah, I think the chase, and I want your opinion on that, the car chase was really funny. But at the end, when he comes out with the steering wheel, I thought that was really funny.
No, that was funny. Really funny. I thought the chase felt like it had a good amount of drama to it, where it was intense. But I can't remember the character's name. What was the one chick in basically the military-esque police vehicle? What was her name?
So her name is it's Palm. Her name's Paris in the movie. Her name's Paris in the movie.
Okay.
She is Mantis in Guardians.
Oh, no shit. I didn't even...
Yeah, that's her. She's a badass.
Connect the dots. Yeah. But with her behind the wheel of that thing, it was really
funny. It is
funny.
Rome, by the way.
Okay. I checked. Confirmed Rome.
Sorry.
Small Guys trip to Rome.
We didn't say Paris.
Mike, Aiden, and Brian, book your tickets. We're going to Rome. But yeah, no, the scene where she's like behind the wheel of that thing and she's just smashing through stuff, like
cool.
It was funny and it was cool. Because they're trying to run away and she's like psychotic, laughing, like in this big huge truck, just crushing everything in her sight. And they're in this little tiny Fiat, trying to evade, which I think helped add to like the humor in it. Like she's in this basically monster truck and they're in this tiny little... I like how they, that was funny too. The Fiat's right next to the military green Ferrari. You think maybe they're going to get in this cool car. No, that's just part of like the humor aspect to it, which I liked.
And that's the funny thing about the IMF, that organization, is because they're so low key that they don't have the huge budget that a normal Spec Ops group would have, but they still have like the really cool... What did you think of the fake face thing? Because that's been a thing in the franchise multiple times. We've seen it in multiple movies. But a first time viewer...
Yeah, that was the first time I had seen that. I actually thought that was cool. I like that idea better than like how other movies will do like a replication thing where it's like digital and stuff. I like the idea of like the silicon mask-esque looking thing, because I feel like that's a little bit more realistic than some click a button and boom, it's some digital thing. Not that couldn't be a thing in the future, but that seems 100 years out versus like a silicon mask replica. I mean, we can already get pretty close with that in real time. So
and two, they don't explain it in this movie. They do show it briefly. But there's even like a voice changer that they put on their throat with the mask on. So they have that person's voice even. So that's cool. They do explain all the stuff and it's really cool. It's just, that's what's cool about these movies is they are missions that are impossible with these cool technology kind of aspects to it that throw in these twists. I guess now this was one of my favorite parts of the movie and I definitely want to hit on it. I love the airport scenes. I don't know what you thought about those.
No, I liked those too. I mean, it was intense. You got multiple different things going on at once. You've got someone trying to defuse a bomb. You've got Ethan trying to run away and not be seen, but also at the same time try and find the person with the other side of the key. Like there's a lot of different aspects going on all at once. Meanwhile, you've also got gosh, I can't remember his name. The guy that's like
Benji?
a ghost.
Oh, the bad guy? Gabriel?
Thank you. Gabriel, yes. Gabriel's there as well. And he thinks he sees him. And I didn't understand that exactly at first. I was like, oh, is this like someone that maybe died? But they thought it, So there's a lot going on. But no, I liked the airport scene too. And I like how they're fighting the whole time, essentially like really like an AI. Which was kind of neat because it feels realistic to some sense. Like that's definitely, I mean, I don't know if we'll have a Mission Impossible in real life, but AI causing problems is definitely going to be like a thing in the next 10 years. AI, if you're listening, we love you.
Well, and we've seen it before, in other movies like Terminator and I'm trying to think of some other ones that I guess would be close enough to where the villain is this bad AI. But, we've seen it before in the past. And Skynet, I guess, it's just... But the thing is like, you could make the argument, I want the villain to be a more, like, physical, like, human being, which we get that from Gabriel in a way. I think, too, there's a chance that in part 2 we'll see someone who created the device and like is the mastermind, maybe working it from behind the scenes. I feel like we could.
Yeah, what did they call it?
Let me see here. I'll have it right here.
The Sentinel. I don't know.
Entity. The entity.
The entity.
Yeah. So
good name.
I think it's a cool villain though, because it's someone. This is the first villain in this franchise, and I'll tell you this: like Henry Cavill was the villain in the last movie. He's this big, bulky, strong, smart guy who Ethan's got to beat. They fight. They outthink each other. This is a guy. This is a thing that Ethan Hunt cannot fight. He has to outsmart it. You know what I mean?
They have to think like it, and they have to think logically, which is very interesting. They have to like take away the emotion. Which I thought that was kind of cool too. They mentioned that in the movie, like, they're like, oh, well, this, the entity has thought out every possible situation that you can think of. So you kind of just have to pick a route and hope you can outsmart it, because the problem is though, it's probably calculated everything you can possibly think of, which is a little bit terrifying.
Yeah. So the entity probably wanted Ethan to kill Gabriel on the train, right? We know earlier on in the movie that one of Ethan's friends had to die from what the entity said, and it was either the Grace character played by Haley Atwell or Ilsa. And Ilsa has been actually one of the better or one of the best Mission Impossible characters from the last few movies. She joined somewhat recently, it was a couple movies ago, and she's kind of like a fan favorite. So when she was the one that died, and I told Sydney, I was like, she's going to be the one that ends up dying. Because Haley Atwell, new character in the franchise. I liked her character a lot. Like, they're not going to kill her right away. Now, I've seen a lot of theories, and I want to ask you this. Now, you've never seen the other ones. But do you really think she's dead? There might be a chance to trick the entity. They had to pretend to fake her death. And they faked her death earlier on in the movie, so it's possible they could have done it again.
I would say it's not off the table. It might be a little cheesy, though.
Yeah.
And that's why she's indestructible. She never dies. Because might feel a little cheesy.
The Paris character, the one we were talking about earlier, the badass, she got stabbed in somewhat of a similar place, and she was able to get back up. So that's why some people think. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but then
to
she
trick
died.
the entity, you had to play it off like she's dead, because then it'll calibrate all these new ways to try to stop you. So if they want to keep it on its current path,
and I guess she could join what's his name, the guy that I don't remember the name.
Luther, that went rogue.
Yeah, maybe
not rogue, but he went off the grid.
The grid. Maybe she finds it. Maybe there was like a note, like, this is where I'll be, on a paper note. This is the only communication I can leave. So I would say it's not off the table. It's possible.
Yeah. Yes, that would be really interesting to see. I'm just trying to think of a couple other scenes. I like the Benji at the airport when he has to defuse the Riddle bomb.
Yeah.
Love that. That was a really cool idea.
That was cool.
Yeah, being honest.
Yeah, I like how too. Like Ethan's like, I feel he like, once he finally finds out about the bomb too, he's like, if there's one thing maybe you can let me know about, it's like nuclear bombs would be like on my priority list that you could fill me in on things that we can work on together as a team. Like, I know, we're separated, we're supposed to be taking care of our own things, but maybe keep me in the loop on nukes, just to be safe.
Just to be fair.
Yeah, I'd like to be in the loop on that.
Yeah, so what did you think of the Briggs character, those cops that are trying to stop Ethan throughout the movie? They're kind of like these side villains. And then they end up helping at the end.
I was going to say, you can see their inner conflict the whole time. They're just responsible to basically their boss, the government at the time, or whoever's a director. So you can see, I mean, like at the one point when he's pointing the gun at Ethan, it's like, his job is to kind of bring him in, or kill. He's like, I can't. You can see the inner conflict there. He's like, do I really need to kill this guy? And I think you really get to see it later in the movie when Ethan kind of is now giving the direction. He, the train, he's like, we're on a runaway train. Here's what I need you to do. Send everyone to the back. And, both the cop characters are like, fuck it. Okay, yeah. You know what? This guy, I mean, this guy clearly has proven himself. Let's at least listen to him on this front. So I did like that. But you then, again, get to see it right at the end, where they do go to, they're trying to at least arrest him or whatever, but he jumps out with his parachute. So no, I actually did like those characters, to kind of come back around to your question, because they did a good job of showing that internal conflict. They didn't seem like the bad guy the whole time. They were like the side bad guy with the conflict. Which I did actually appreciate. One nitpick that I just thought of though at the end, when they had the parachute, and he tells Grace, he's like, "Oh, there's only one parachute." I told Emma, I like leaned over, I'm like, Grace doesn't know how to use it anyway. Like, what the fuck does that even matter? Even if there were two, what the hell is she gonna do? Like, he's like, "Oh, we only got one." Like, okay, you're the only one that knows how to use that. This chick was a
somehow
thief.
strap both themselves on or
That's
something.
what I thought too. I'm like, all right, I'm bet they could, hook each other up here. So there's just a little nitpick of me just being an ass with the movie.
No, and to talk about the ending, because I think we've hit on all the scenes we've wanted to talk about really. Now, you went in, I went in, we knew it was a part one, it's in the title. We've seen a couple part ones this year with Spider-Verse and things like that, right? Where things are going to be continued. And I saw Tom Cruise come out and said this. He said that for his part one, and even Fast Furious 10 was part one, I guess. Because it just ends in the middle of the movie. He really wanted to not end on a cliffhanger. He wanted to end the movie, even though there's more to be continued, and there's still like the Luthor going off grid. We don't see him again. There's other knots to tie, but it doesn't just end abruptly. What did you think of that?
I actually liked how it ended. How it just wasn't like a complete hard cut. There was a little bit of resolution to kind of wrap it up. I mean, it's still on, like, I would call it a cliffhanger. But it just wasn't like a hard cut. There felt like there was some resolution, leaves a smile on your face, not like a what the heck just happened here. So I actually did like how it ended.
Yeah, because you got Spider-Verse where he's about to break out.
That's just
of being wrapped up. Yeah, it gets cut.
Hard cut.
Fast and Furious is even worse. They're at the bottom of a dam. A dam blows up. The water's coming. Boom. Cuts to black.
Oh.
So it's like you have these kind of movies where it's like, what? Like you're almost like pissed a little bit. You're like,
I wouldn't.
I have to wait now, like on that. Whereas this, like you just said, you feel a little fulfilled, right? Ethan still kind of does win, but there's still more to do. So yeah, I like that. This movie kind of has somewhat of an ending. And I was really nervous. I was like, part one, I'm like, they might just end it on a huge cliffhanger that I've seen multiple times this year already. I don't know. And I think, too, we'll be able to judge how well this movie is after seeing a part two along with those other movies we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Because you really can't tell from a half movie.
I agree.
So, and that was my whole Spider-Verse argument with Into and Across, because Across, it's hard to say it's the better movie because it's like reading only half a book. We need to know how the other half of the book ends.
Rest. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that a lot. But yeah, this and who knows, maybe this one will end up becoming my favorite down the line.
Something else to mention about it, about Mission Impossible, was the actor that we both realized is in two different things. Rebecca Ferguson here,
yes,
who was in yes, but is also in Silo. As I was watching the movie, I was like, she looks familiar, which is funny.
Yeah, which is really funny. Yeah, because I've seen the movies, you saw the show.
And then when we left the movies, I was looking that up, and then I think you had texted me right after. Two totally different things. We may review that show in the future after Josh watches it. Show ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, no, it's funny because if you gave the movie a chance or franchise a chance, you saw her. I gave the show a chance. I saw her. So it's funny that we both seen her in different things, and then we both tried the same thing the same night, and that's when we see her. She's obviously amazing. And that's why I was telling you, she's one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise, so it sucked to see her die. I'm almost hoping she's still alive.
think I would like to see more of her. I only saw the one movie, so hopefully maybe she is alive. We do not.
Or maybe there'll be a multiverse thing where the character from Silo comes.
Maybe. Silo.
Everything's a multiverse now.
Silo ends on a cliffhanger, so get ready for that.
We'll get more seasons, probably. I assume
it's based off of 3 books.
Okay, so more content.
Yep, and from my understanding, this first season is not even the first book. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll find out when I read the first book here. I just got it in today.
Okay. Yeah, I just finished episode 1, so I'm gonna keep watching. I'll probably watch another one tonight. I'd love to pace it because I just love having shows to watch.
let's get back around and do some reviews for Mission Impossible here.
Some scores.
Some scores here. I'll start us off. I'll let you finish because you're gonna go. I know your score is gonna be a little bit higher than mine.
Yes.
But off rip here. Good movie. If you like action movies, like I started this review, you're gonna enjoy this. I think if you've seen the other Mission Impossible movies and saw this, you're gonna enjoy this. It's very action packed. It's got its good humory moments to kind of bring it around and keep the tone a little bit softer, but it's also got that good anxiety in it, that good anxiety feeling, like this, oh, what's going to happen? Are they going to die? Is someone going to get hurt here? It's got that throughout the movie. Got to give it a little extra too, like I said, for Tom Cruise and his stunts that he continues to do every movie. The guy's 61. Insane. That's crazy. Huge props for that. I couldn't do that. I'd be dead.
No.
I would have jumped off without the parachute on the bike. I'd have said, I'm not doing this shit again. In fact, they did it 7 times. Insane. But no, I would say overall, good movie, good watch. Would I rewatch it? No, I wouldn't. And that is only because it's so long that I wouldn't rewatch it. And that was
Let me ask you this. Would you give any other movie in the franchise a chance?
Yeah, I probably would. I probably would. I don't know if I'd go out of my way, though. I will say that. I didn't pick up as much love for it. I will say, watching this one movie, I do think I'd like this better than the Fast franchise.
You would.
And I've
it
seen.
Is better.
I think I've seen 2 or 3 of the Fast movies. I don't even remember which ones. I know I've seen Fast 5, for sure. I've seen that one all the way through for whatever reason. So I could say that I would give this more of a chance for a franchise action based movie, whatever. I know they're a little bit different, but no, definitely worth the watch. Score wise, like I said, I think the critics and the audience are a little high for me on this one. Usually I somewhere in between there. I'm still not giving it a bad score. I'm going to go 86 out of 100. For the action and what was there. Originally I actually was planning to go a little bit lower. Talking about it here bumped me up about 3 points. Originally I was thinking 83. So talking about it a little bit more, I'm feeling comfortable with an 86. I would say maybe check out the series. I'll have to give if it pops on, or maybe they're on. I'm not sure if they're on like Hulu or Netflix, all the movies or something. Maybe I'll crank through them one of these days if I'm bored. But yeah, no, I'd say overall pretty good. I'm feeling comfortable with an 86. Not perfect. Like I said, my main caveat is that it's too long for me. 2 hours and 43 minutes for this movie felt too long. We're about to do Interstellar on
Tuesday.
It'll come out Tuesday.
Next episode.
Yeah, next episode after this. That's a 3-hour movie. That movie I actually felt is okay being 3 hours. I don't know. Maybe cut off some time on that too, but that's a pretty perfect.
I mean,
movie.
Yeah, 3 hours for any movie is going to be long. I mean, we'll see with Oppenheimer too. You know what I mean?
It's long.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Even Endgame, it's long. That's
an event. Like, 3 hours for a movie is an event nowadays. Which, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But yep, 86 out of 100. Take us home.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping. I was like, oh, this is going to spark a fire in him. He's just going to watch all the movies. One day we'll get you there. I'm happy that you at least gave it a chance. It's weird. So there are like 6 movies before it, and there's that first trilogy, which like started in the mid to late 90s, and then there's the newer trilogy. And I think you would actually like the newer trilogy a lot more, as a lot more people do. I do too. But still, those OG3 are still really good. I went back to look because I was like, who the hell is Gabriel? Now, Gabriel has not been in a movie before. He's just a villain in Ethan's Fast. Yeah, so I wanted to let you know that.
All right,
but
that's good
as a first-time viewer, you'd probably think, okay, this guy's been in another movie. No.
Absolutely thought that.
Yeah, no, I guess not. So I went and looked. I was like, this guy's not in any of them. So
okay.
Yeah, because I was like, maybe it was Mission Impossible 2, which
that probably even confused some legacy viewers. as
Excuse
well.
me. I'm like, who the hell is this? I almost looked him up during the movie because I didn't remember him in the trailer because I only saw the trailer once because I wanted to go into it fresh. But yeah, so I wanted to mention that. And I was like, I feel like Andrew's definitely going to think this guy's been in other movies because I even thought it for a minute. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to mention that. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's my second favorite, barely my second favorite. It's close to a first. I really liked it a lot. Like I said, I gotta see part 2 to know how I really feel about it. I really like the idea of the villain being an AI, especially nowadays. ChatGPT feels very realistic now. We're not too far from it being an actual possibility, and it being a weapon that everyone in the world wants makes complete sense.
I mean, actually, I just had a discussion today at work, and we were talking about something that we're developing and building out. And the client in that case was like, "Oh, are you guys building an AI tool?" And we're like, "No, not quite." So it's definitely like the hot topic, and we were talking about that for a while. And he was saying, "Yeah, it's kind of scary, like AI and all that kind of stuff." So, yeah, it's definitely. I think in the next 10 years we'll get something maybe not scary, but it'll have its worries.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, the score in this movie is amazing. They actually use the Mission Impossible theme, but they use different versions of it depending on the scene. Really cool. They've never really done that, or I guess they've done it, but not as much. I feel like this movie was constant. It was awesome. I love the theme. Everyone knows the Mission Impossible theme. And then 2, I really liked. It was shot on digital. This is the first Mission Impossible movie shot on digital. I was worried that I was going to be able to tell. I really couldn't. So I want to say I like that they were able to perform that way, and it's still not even be noticeable to me. So, that's one of those things too with me rewatching these movies all the time. Not really picking that up. I thought it looked great, and I love the bike scene. The no noise, noise cancellation when he's jumped off. It felt like I was falling with him. Like, it felt really cool. I have not really had an experience like that this year in the theaters, so I thought that was really neat. We'll see in Oppenheimer when the screen blows up.
We got to get you skydiving. I've been.
I know. I really want to try it, dude. I can't believe I haven't yet. I know. I'm jealous. I got to do that for sure. It's on my bucket list. I'm going to give the movie a 93. Nice. It will probably end up in my top 10. We'll see. There's still a lot more movies to come. We're a little past the halfway mark. But yeah, 93. Really enjoyed the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I think if you're a fan of action movies, I think you would still enjoy yourself going to see it if you haven't seen it at all. Whether or not you've seen the franchise or not, I think you can attest to that, Andrew. It's a fun action movie for sure.
It is a fun action movie.
I think it had one of the better car chases next to like John Wick 4. John Wick 4's car chase was awesome with the shooting and everything, but
it was.
This is pretty close.
This one, the car chase in this just felt a little bit more comedic though, which was good. It was good for it.
But it still had those Mission Impossible aspects when he's stuck on the rail and he has to get out of the car really quick. And, so they had those moments. But yeah, I'm going to go with 93. Like Andrew mentioned earlier, we're doing Interstellar next. Big movie. We'll all be back for that. We're all really excited to talk about that. It's Barbenheimer week. So yeah, Interstellar will come out Tuesday, and then we have Oppenheimer on Friday. So really exciting next week. This was our Tom Cruise week. Next week is our Nolan week. So
yep. And thank you for everyone that continues to listen and support here. We will have 4 to 5 of us back in the coming episodes. I think everyone's had a super busy last 2 weeks. Last week just Josh and Mike. This week just me and Josh. So I think we'll have all 5 of us back.
Me and Brian next time.
Yeah, you and
just
Brian
don't
next.
Pay me up,
okay. Yeah, the Aiden
right,
Josh episode is bad.
Oh yeah, no, we had to can that one. We talked about the Smurf movie. No, but thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.